What's going on, people? Welcome back to nestatv. And before we get into today's topic, just go and like this video, drop a like on it. If you haven't subscribed yet, go and subscribe to the channel. Lots more content to come, people, and thank you for your support so far. So today we're going to be talking about the domestic transfer window. And a lot of people, y'all might say, yo, didn't the transfer window just close? What is the domestic transfer window? So basically, the domestic transfer window is a window that pretty much remained open when the normal transfer window closed, where Arsenal signed Thomas Partey and deadline day, and Manchester United signed Cavani. It's like that window closed on the 5th. Now this window goes from the 6th of October to the 16th of October, and it closes, the 16th of October at 5 p.m. also. And pretty much Premier League teams can do business with Championship team, League 1 team, League 2 team, probably non-league teams as well, and they can do business with Premier League teams, but Premier League teams cannot do business with other Premier League teams, if that makes sense. So basically, we're just gonna go through some business that could possibly still happen, some bargains that's down there in the Championship that Premier League teams can get, some bargains that's in the Premier League. The young players that can go to the Championship and League 1 on loan. It's a perfect time to get those young players out on loan so they can gain experience and more playing time. So we're gonna start with Saliba. There's a lot of words been going around about him needing more time to settle in England. His mom passed away early in the year and stuff like that. And I kind of feel for him, because in a time where he's looking to transition to Arsenal, his mom died early in the year, and I'm sure he's still 19. I'm sure it's a lot for somebody of his age. So, and playing for Arsenal bring a lot of pressure, So pretty much I think it's a good move. I heard that they want to keep him with the team in London so he can still be close to the Arsenal family and stuff like that, which kind of makes sense, So if that's going to be the case, get him out on loan. But Arsenal can use this to their advantage. So now pretty much I think Arsenal can say, for example, like a Brentford, because we're gonna move on to them next. They can tell Brentford, hey, we want to buy Benrahma from you. We give you 10-15 mil, and we give you Saliba on loan for the season, and you sell us Benrahma for a cheaper price, because I'm sure they probably rate Benrahma for about 20-25 mil also. Arsenal can use this to their advantage. Maybe like a Watford, give them Saliba. Because I think Watford is right there in London too. Wherever, I think Watford is not that far, and we give them Saliba and probably get like Ismail Sarr or something. So these like that can still happen. Let's look and see what Arsenal do with Saliba. I think Arsenal should use it to their advantage and get a player to come back the other way as we send Saliba out on loan. Also, there's players like Reece Nelson, or Joe Willock, I think can benefit from a loan. If we can get a proper midfielder, because I do feel like that's where Arsenal need to get some more depth. Get a midfield in us and Joe Willock on loan. I feel like Joe Willock can do from a nice loan. Maybe he just needs to get his confidence up. But you look out for it. Him and Reece Nelson and Saliba, I'm sure there's a chance they will probably go out on loan. So we have to watch and see. As I said, we're gonna move on to Brentford. Benrahma is a player that's been hot on the lips of a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest, I really thought that he would have got a move already. I thought the team would have came in for him already, but it seemed like that's not the case right now. A lot of teams in the Premier League can benefit from somebody like Benrahma, like Aston Villa. So he'll probably come in and be a backup to a lot of teams, get a first team, a first team position or what. But I don't know. This is one that could happen. Benrahma is a very skillful player. I see him play wide on the left a lot. There's been maybe 1 or 2 times where he probably drifted in and play attacking midfield. He's a very good player, and you can look out for him. I'm sure. I will be shocked if this window closed and he doesn't get to move to the Premier League. It's one to look out for. Don't be surprised if Manchester United come in and swoop for him, because they haven't done much business, and their fans are not happy, so they might make a move for him or whatever. There's other teams that I can see him going to, like Newcastle can do with another winger of his caliber. Arsenal, I think Arsenal can do with him. I would like to see him at Arsenal. So just look out for it. Also at Brentford we have Rico Henry. Rico Henry is a left back. 23 years old. I like Rico Henry. He's an attacking fullback, but I don't know much about his defensive work rate. You know, how good is he defensively, but offensively, I think he's very good. He knows to skip pass play. He put some good crosses in too. That's a good player too that can move. I would love to see him at Arsenal. I do feel like we need a backup left back too, Kieran Tierney, but I think Arteta might use Saka. You just never know, but he's a good player. He's one to look out for, and I won't be surprised if I see him come back to the Premier League. There's teams that can do with a nice left back like him. Young, upcoming. If he get a chance in a good team, I'm sure he will perform. So that's it for Brentford. We're gonna move on to Watford. I talked about Watford before in my relegated bargain video, and now we can talk about them again. I feel like they have some experienced head in their defense, like Kabasele and Dawson. I do feel like they can probably make a move, you know, like Burnley haven't really spent much money. You know, they might bring in a centre back. There's other teams that can do with a centre back, and that's a good shout. Decent shout for the mid-table team or the bottom half of the table teams. So look out for this one. Also at Watford, we have Troy Deeney. We're talking about older heads. Troy Deeney. He came out and said like, yo, I'm not finished. Because people saying that he's finished. He's not a Premier League type striker. He came out and he said, yo, I'm not finished. You know, I score more goals than Haller at West Ham and Joe Linton at Newcastle, and they came in for like 40 mil or 20 plus mil or whatever he said, and he have a point. You know, Troy Deeney is an older striker in his 30s or just around 30, but he's a good striker still. So I won't be surprised if I see, you know, a team. I can see him playing for a team like Burnley, you know, with Chris Wood and them ones, you know, and I can do see him playing for a team like them. There's other teams I can do with a Troy Deeney right now, even as a backup striker. I can see him coming back. I'm sure he would love to come back to the Premier League. I know he's loyal to Watford, but we just have to wait and see. My last player for Watford, we're gonna talk about Ismail Sarr. I'm surprised nobody swooped for him. I heard Liverpool was interested in him. I doubt it, because if they was really interested for him, why they never went for him? They end up getting Diogo Jota, which is also a good player, but I think Sarr is a good player. He terrorized Liverpool. And you know, that's one thing Liverpool always do. They always go for players that terrorize them. You know, like Minamino and stuff like that. So this is a good shout. He's a good player, good wide player. When he was playing for Rennes, he lit it up in France. He came into the Premier League, even though they got relegated. I think he was one of their top performers, him and Doucouré, along with Deeney, you know, in the Premier League. So look out for it. I can see him moving. You never know. Manchester United didn't get Jadon Sancho. They will probably just go for Sarr. I think he will be a good deal. I think he'll offer more than Daniel James do, for sure. He's a very skillful player, quick player, and he have an eye for goal. So look out for this one. Arsenal, Sarr. Get Sarr, bring in Sarr, loan out Reece Nelson. So you can say, okay, Watford, we'll give you, you know, Sarr. They will probably rate Sarr for like 40 mil, 35, 40 mil, maybe 30 mil. You can go and say, hey, we give you 15, 20 mil for Sarr, and you know, we give you Reece Nelson for a season on loan or 2 seasons on loan, whatever. So Reece Nelson can get English game time because he haven't been getting much. That could be a good deal that can happen. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with that. But if you guys would love to see Sarr Arsenal, I would love to. I think he's a good player. Moving on to Norwich. I spoke about Norwich and also in my relegated bargain. And you have Max Aarons. Barcelona was interested in him. Norwich said they're not selling. They want to keep a hold of him. I'm surprised he haven't moved yet. You know, and I don't think Arsenal will go for a right back, because I think Arsenal is going to keep on to hold on to Cedric and Bellerin as their right backs, and you have Maitland-Niles that can come in if one of them get injured, and he can also go and play left back. So I don't see Aarons coming to Arsenal. Do I see him going to another team as a right back? I'm sure there's teams up there that would love, you know, like for example you have Everton. You know, they got Seamus Coleman, but he's not the youngest right now. You know, Max Aarons, he will look so good in Everton team. Him right back, Luka Digne left back, he will look so good in their team. But a lot of teams can do with a Max Aarons in the Premier League. He was a quality player, one of their standout players when they were in the Premier League. So he's only 20 years old. Look out for Max Aarons. I won't be surprised if he move, but they're convinced they want to keep him. Todd Cantwell, I like Todd Cantwell. I think he's a baller. He scored a good amount of goals in the Premier League last season. sad that they got relegated, but I think he's a good player. Sarr and Cantwell is what, 22 years old. He's an Arsenal fan. He came out and say an Arsenal fan. He play wide. He can play as number 10. I think he will be a good shout. I feel like if he was to get Sarr and Cantwell in the Arsenal team, I feel like he will offer more than Reiss Nelson offer. I think Reiss Nelson is a good player, but he just haven't been proving it. You know, he don't seem that confident to me when he play. Cantwell is a good player. He in the box is good. He finish and stuff like that. I can see him, you know, making a move before this domestic window close. My next player, Buendia, he been linked to a lot of teams. A lot of talks been going on with Arsenal also for Buendia. Good player too, skillful player. Buendia is 23 years old. He play wide. He can play attacking mid too. That's a good one to look out for. I like him. I think Buendia is a baller. So look out for Buendia. There's a possibility before this domestic window close that he can make a move. My last player for Norwich is the standout striker. He had a good stint in the Premier League before, you know, for a little while, but then he started to die down as the season go along, and that's Pookie. And as they say, no Pookie, no party. So it's like he was playing really good. The Pookie, he scored 11 goals. The last time in the Premier League, he scored 11 goals last season. That's a lot, and a lot of strikers score. And I feel like Norwich is the defense let them down the most, but Pookie is what, 30 years old. How many teams will want a 30-year-old striker in Pookie? Some teams, you know. He can come in and be a backup striker to some teams, you know. Some teams that they have cup games and stuff. Like Callum Wilson came back. I spoke about him the last time, and he made a move to Newcastle, and he's doing good. He's scoring goals already. So Pookie, I can see the same thing happening for Pookie. Let's watch and see if anybody tries to scoop him. We're gonna move on to Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, my first player I'm gonna go with is Jefferson Lerma. I spoke about him in my last relegated bargain video. I think he's a nice solid midfielder according to how you plan on using him. And one thing I would like to say, you know, a lot of people look down on teams that got relegated, and they probably think that, hey, they got relegated, nobody on their team is good because they got. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes a team can get relegated because they wasn't consistent enough. The coach didn't apply proper tactics. There's different reasons. So I think he's a solid midfielder. If you was to grab you Jefferson Lerma and say, hey, shield my back four for me, defend, cut out the play, keep the ball moving, I'm sure he would do a great job. That's his role. I think he's pretty good. Lerma is 25 years old, still a decent age. I won't be surprised if it's, you know, a team come in and swoop him. I can see him going to a Burnley, probably a Newcastle. You know, some team that like to play solid midfielders and defense strong in the middle. So look out for Jefferson Lerma. I rate him. I think he's a good player. Arsenal need more depth. You know, Arsenal going into the season with 4 midfielders, centre mids. You can call Joe Willock 1 if you rate him as a centre mid, but 4 is not enough for a season. Maybe 4 with Willock and then maybe a Jefferson Lerma, just in case any injuries. You have Europa League games. You never know, and I think he's a good player. He's very similar to, not really similar, Partey is a more box-to-boxer, Lerma is a more sit-deep midfielder, but just look out for it. You never know. My next player is David Brooks. Our next player I rate, not the 2019-2020 season, but the 2018-2019 season. David Brooks was doing really good for Bournemouth before he got his injury, and I do think he's a baller. He play more wide on the right. You know, his skills on the ball, he takes shots, he scores goals. I think he's a very good player. I really like David Brooks, a Welsh international. You know, you just have to look out for him. 23 years old. I think he's just trying to find this rhythm back again after being injured. We just have to see how it goes for him. I won't be surprised if a team scoop him. He's a very good player. We're gonna move on to Joshua King. King is a proper striker. Just like I think him and Callum Wilson was holding it down for Bournemouth. He made a move. I heard Tottenham was thinking about bringing Josh King in, but they end up going for that Benfica striker, Vicinius or something. I think King is a he's a good striker. 28 years old. He have Premier League experience. He been I think there was one season, maybe 3 years ago or so, maybe 4 years ago, he scored like 16 goals in the Premier League, and that's good. You know, that's good stats right there. So he do have it in him. Premier League proven, just haven't been able to play on a certain level. But look out for him. I do feel like a team can scoop him and he can improve somebody's squad. I don't see him coming to Arsenal. I think he's Arsenal type of player, but there's a lot of teams in the Premier League that can do with him. So we have to look and see how that one go. My last team I'm gonna talk about is Swansea. And this is the centre back, Joe Rodon. Tottenham really wanted him. There's a chance they can still get him. They loaned out their young defender, One Foyt, or however you pronounce it. So they was heavily linked with him. I don't know what happened, but I can do see this one happening still because the domestic window is open. So I do feel like Tottenham would take advantage of it. He seemed to be a proper centre back. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen much of him. Based on the stats and what I see, his ratings per game and stuff, he looked like he always put in a shift. He looked like he's the leading centre back. He's 22 years old. I think he's Welsh, if I'm not mistaken. He came through the ranks at Swansea. This could be a shout too. So we have to look out for this one. I do think this one is gonna happen. But people, those are just the teams I was talking about that, you know, the domestic window is open. Teams can improve their squad still because they're still good talent. And as I said, not because a team got relegated or they in the championship mean they're not good. You know, Liverpool signed Andy Robertson from a relegated Hull, and I know Liverpool fans, most Liverpool fans was like, yo, how we signing him? He got relegated, and now look at him, one of the best left backs in the world, top 3. He's definitely top 3 best left backs in the world for me. I think he is that good. Jamie Vardy, he didn't really get relegated with Leicester, but he came from non-league. He was playing somewhere else some years ago. Then he came to the Premier League and boom, he smashed it. He an England striker right now. So you have to just give these players a chance. My opinion, I always feel like players that don't really do good in a team that's not that good, and the player is good, if you put them in a better team around better players, not all the time, but sometimes and most of the times, they tend to do better. And that's just how I feel, you know. So look out for this. I do feel like there will be a lot of movement still happening. Also look out for the young players that will be going out on loan. I like to look out for that. I like to keep track of players that's on loan and stuff like that. So let's look out for this, people, and thank you for watching again. Please like this video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't as yet, and listen, we got more content to come, people. So thank you again for watching. It's your boy Nesta. I'll see you soon.